That's cool.
So, mate, tell me about this. You're writing a book as well about leadership. Can we talk about that?
As long as you buy a book.
Nah. I'll buy the audio version read by myself.
You would do that.
I probably would. I listen to it as I go to sleep every night.
I would much rather listen to your voice than my voice, trust me.
I definitely don't have a radio voice. I listened back to myself with the first season of the podcast. I was like, man, you definitely don't have a voice for radio.
Isn't it funny that everyone does that?
Yeah.
Like I listen to myself and all that and go, oh my God, is that what I sound like? It's because we actually don't know what we sound like, because when we hear things that we hear your voice, it travels through the ear this way, but when we hear our own voice, where we hear it through a different sensory, it comes through the front of the face. It's very nasally. We can pick it up in, so what other people hear is not what you hear every day when you talk. And so most people hate the sound of their voice. I listen to your podcast like, I wish I could speak like him. It's like anything, man. The curly hair girl wants the straight hair, and the straight hair girl wants the curly hair. It's.
Does anyone want to be the redhead?
There's some good. I wouldn't mind being Ed Sheeran.
No, but how if Ed Sheeran. There's always
go for the top. No one wants to be the redhead that's getting wedgied at school. No.
Yeah. But why do they get wedgied at school?
Yeah, it's tribal mentality. That's what it is. It's that redheads there's less of them, and when the dark-haired kids and the blonde-haired kids get together, they've got a common enemy. Let's
get them, boys.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the redheads that make it are strong.
Yeah,
they're super strong.
Yeah,
redheaded woman, like I'm not messing with her. The redheaded, they've heard some stuff. They've had some shit slung their way, and they've been able to weather that.
Yeah.
Any minority, to be honest, has had their fair share of hardships to get to where they are, and all it's done, for everyone's information, if you want to sling shit at the minorities, all it's done is make them stronger, more resilient, and more able to take the jobs and the success that you want. So stop it.
In the last episode, we spoke about 1% at a time, which is which was awesome. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back, listen to Ty's story, listen to how one line came about. It's very powerful. We obviously have a level system at Unrivalled where we want you guys to be taking one level at a time, one step at a time, 1% at a time. We're always moving that needle closer towards your goals. Now, if we have the 7 proven pillars. To performance, to health, to vitality, to longevity. If we could have those pillars, or any pillar in a pyramid format, if I can't even say that right, but if you were to divide your life up into pyramids or pillars with a level system, one that you are writing about now, about leadership.
Yep.
How would you talk to me about the levels of leadership? What's the fundamental level, and what's the icing on top? And the reason why I say is because there's no point in sprinkling the hundreds and thousands on the cake if the base isn't right.
Yep.
So we were even talking about before about getting healthy. There's people out there that are counting calories and tracking macros, which is awesome. However, they're not even getting the base level right, which is level 1, which is water.
Yep.
So talk to us about leadership.
Can do. I forgot we were talking about the book. Yeah, so you're right. I'm at the early stages of writing the book. I've drafted sort of the structure of it, and it's very much what I've learnt from Unrivalled, and it's to split. In order to teach someone, you need to sort of break it down into components, and then each component is worth something. Like there's a component in everything that gives you the most bang for your buck, the minimum effective dose, and then there are components then that are weighted appropriately. And I've read so many leadership books in the last 10 years because I was a young professional that was thrust into a leadership role probably before a lot of people thought I was experienced enough to handle. So what I did was develop myself and learn as much as I could about leadership and management and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I still, to this day, have not found a book that has told me that this is the most important part. You know, like you say, there's no point sprinkling the hundreds and thousands on a shit cake. It's still a shit cake.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter the amount of hundreds of thousands, it still tastes like shit. Yeah. And so there's no point in doing the thing that gives you the least bang for buck.
Yeah.
Before you're doing the bottom of the pyramid. And so that's the basis of the book. It's an understanding of the pyramid of priority, or the hierarchy status of things.
Specifically around leadership?
Specifically about leadership.
About this today.
Yeah, specifically about leadership, and I'm about 4,000 words in, and I just try and write 10 words a day. And that's my goal, is 10 words a day. And I often find when I start with 10 words that it usually flows into a lot more than that. And let's say it doesn't. Well, I'm 10 words closer to finishing than I was before.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I see it. Like, I break everything up. And so what I've found through my experience is the number one, the foundation of the pyramid has got to be self-development.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because if you're not willing to continue to learn and to evolve with your team, whether it's your family, whether it's your work colleagues, whether it's your sporting team, then you're done. How many old school coaches are there in the AFL now that just tear absolute shreds off people? There's none. They're all gone. The last one to go was probably Mick Malthouse. Yeah. Or talk AFL for people who probably don't even follow AFL. But what I'm saying is that what worked in 1970s in terms of managing humans doesn't work now.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing to continue to develop yourself as an individual, but develop your learning on how to deal with other individuals and how to galvanize them together to reach a common goal, you're done. Yeah. You might be a really good leader right now, but in 5 years' time, you'll be gone. Yeah.
It's also like that our mindset pillar, growth. You've got to have that growth mindset.
It's what it comes down to. It's growth versus fixed mindset. Yeah. Effectively. So
I was thinking before, like you asked me, and I said we'll discuss it, so I'm just going to pretend you asked me the question here. Because you asked me what would be, and I don't know your levels, your priorities. You said, what would be my base of leadership? And I was thinking for about 20 seconds, and now I've thought about it again. I reckon for me it would be attitude. But attitude, self-development, growth mindset, they're all kind of the same. You've got to have the attitude to develop yourself as a person, because the more you can develop yourself as a person, the more you can develop other people.
100%. It's the same thing with, if you can't manage your life, then what chance have you got of managing other people? Yeah. Like if I see someone who's grossly overweight, and stressed all the time and running around and like, I don't have time for this. They can't manage their own life. Yeah. And they're my manager at work. Yeah. I have less faith in their ability to manage me. Yeah. And so they might be the best manager in the world, but unfortunately, they're going to have to, or it's going to take time for me to understand that.
There's also a difference between managing and leading.
Oh, 100%.
Vastly different.
Yeah. Vastly different. Definitely. And I go through that in the book. There is a fundamental difference in managing versus leading. Yeah. And management is almost dead, I think, or it's at least dying, which is a good thing. Management, as far as I'm concerned, is all about climbing the ladder, and leadership is making sure the ladder's on the right wall.
Yeah, bringing people with you.
Yeah, because if you can climb the ladder all you're on, but if it's facing the wrong direction or if it's up against the wrong wall, then what are you doing it for? Yeah. Like what's the point? Yeah. So yeah, management is about efficiencies and all that kind of stuff. Whereas leadership is definitely about doing the right things. As another analogy, I think it was Stephen Covey, he said, management is about doing things right, and then leadership is about doing the right things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's a big difference, and one definitely supersedes the other. A leader can be a manager.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but there are a lot of managers out there that aren't leaders.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I've got self-development as your number one priority.
Yeah, I'm gonna firstly stop. I'm not going through all the pillars because this will air before the book's written, and someone else will write my fucking book.
Yeah,
And
great.
so I'm not going through all of them.
Great.
But the next one is credibility.
How about you write more than 10 words a day and you... No, instead, how about you just drop the 1% and go 100%?
100%. Straight into it. Lose my job, everything. lose my family. Lose my source of income.
Yeah, but you'll beat
my fitness.
You'll beat me writing your book.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's cool. All right.
No, the next one is I'm quite happy to talk about because I actually really enjoy talking about it, and it's credibility.
Yeah.
Some people might say, what about communication? Like, yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
But I'm not listening to someone who doesn't have any credibility.
Yeah.
If you're some fat personal trainer who comes in and goes, you really should watch what you eat. Says who?
Yeah.
Santa fucking Claus? Not a chance. Do you know what I mean? Like, credibility is so important, and credibility is synonymous with integrity.
Yeah.
It's about, first of all, having the self-respect and personal integrity. It's about when you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it. If you say you're going to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and write down 3 things you're grateful for, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Simple. Do it. Then you'll build your momentum and it'll become easier and easier. It's going to be hard to start with, but it'll become easier.
Yeah.
Then you've got to have the integrity of others.
Yeah.
Because I want to lead you. I want you to follow me to this direction. Come aboard on my ship, and we're going to sail to this destination. That's what I'm effectively saying.
Yeah.
Come and sail with me. And then
they've got to be able to trust you.
Yeah.
You've got to share the same vision. They've got to really believe that you're the right person.
Exactly. I've got to have credibility for you to get on the ship with me.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then you're never going to do it. It doesn't matter how good my communication skills are. It doesn't matter about any of that stuff. You're just not going to come with me.
Yeah.
And so doing things that you say you're going to do is important. You know, if you say that you will speak to such and such about their pay review or their whatever it is, or do it.
Yeah. How many people have gone, yeah, cool, I'm going to be so good this week. Gets to Wednesday, they get invited out for whatever, and they go off the wagon. I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with discipline as well. It's just like, if you're going to say it, do it.
Yeah, discipline is a really good, like all of this stuff is sort of mindset-y stuff, but in the book I go through within each of the sort of pillars, there's another 5 steps of how the biggest things that you can do for self-development and the biggest things you can do for credibility.
Cool.
It turns out that it's integrity and trustworthiness and all that kind of stuff, and how you build that. And so each of the pillars has its own sort of, separate chapters and subtopics in there, much the same as the Unrivalled does. We want to talk about one of your jams, which is hormones. What sits at the bottom of the hormone pyramid? Cortisol. Yeah. And then within that, what's the biggest bang for buck for cortisol? Yeah. Much the same.
Yeah.
And so, it's super exciting and all that. But like you say, discipline is a big topic, because a lot of people think that you need to be disciplined for your whole life, like living a life that you live, like being fit, athletic, strong, meditating, doing all the things that you do every day requires a level of discipline that I just don't have. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got discipline. I couldn't do that.
No.
Life's will be living. Life's will be enjoyed, not endured. Look at this kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, discipline is required, but only for as long
until it makes it a habit.
Yeah. Exactly. And so that can be different for it. Now, don't read the books that say 21 days to become a habit and 90 days for a lifestyle. It could be, but we're all different.
Yeah.
We're all biologically independent.
Discipline doesn't have to be negative. It has a negative cloud around it. Like when someone says, I've got to be disciplined, it's like, that's going to be tough. Right? But you can discipline yourself to be 1% better where you actually feel better, you're more motivated, you're happier for making progress. So therefore, the discipline becomes an addiction.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, that just morphs into everything of then consistency, trumps perfection, progress. So, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're living the process.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, holy crap, we're doing episode 1 again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how fundamentally important that episode is, or that understanding of 1% and the process. If you get the process right, it will give you life.
Yeah.
And the outcome will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And that you've just embodied it right there. And yeah.
What's one of the leadership qualities that you really embody through your work? How do you empower your colleagues? Like, what's something that stands out that you think you do very differently to other people?
The first thing that I tried to do, or that I did do when I first started, was to get rid of my office. I was given an office. I said, I don't want it. Like, I want to be around the team, and I want to always be on the tools or close enough to the tools to continue to show my team that I can still do it.
Yeah.
And that I'm not only can I still do it, I want to do it. And I want to change the gowns. I want to do the chest X-ray. I want to do the OPG. I want to do, and for anyone playing at home, these are some of the really routine stuff, not the super exciting stuff that comes in through the doors. And that's for me all about walking the walk. Because no one's listening to you talk the talk unless you walk the walk.
Yeah.
And so getting rid of the office, making sure that I was not just leading, like I was part of the team, and almost reversing the roles. Like, hang on a second, you guys don't work for me, I work for you.
That's a huge distinction.
Yeah, 100%. And if you guys aren't happy, I want to know about it. And then that makes me not happy.
Yeah.
And I want to change it. And by being close to the tools and by living that day, with them, I get to see, holy crap, this is not working. I'm also working the same job. This is hard. We need to make a change.
Yeah.
Or this is not helping. And so you don't get too far away from. There's nothing worse than having decisions made for you, and then they're made in Sydney, or they're made in some faraway place, or some bean counters there while they're sitting at a big mahogany desk and sipping whiskey and all this stuff. So I want to be there. I want to be around. I want to be visual. I want to be. I want to. If I'm sailing this ship, I've got to get wet with the crew.
I think that was a huge distinction. They don't work for you, you work for them.
Yeah.
That's huge. Man, let's wrap it up there on leadership. Unless you got anything else?
No, I can't give
too much
away, otherwise the book sales will take a hit. No. Anyone who at the moment is looking for a book on leadership, Leader Shift by John C. Maxwell, is a phenomenal read. I'm not going to give you a whole heap, but that is just a good read. I'm not religious, but he is religious, but you can learn something from anyone and everyone, and that book is phenomenal.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks so much.